Sovereign of the universe, mercifully receive our prayer for our land and its government. Let your blessing pour out on this land and all officials of this country who are occupied in good faith with public needs. Instruct them from your laws, enable them to understand your principles of justice so that peace and tranquility, happiness and freedom might never turn away from our land. Please, wise one, God of the life breath of all flesh, waken your spirit within all inhabitants of our land and plant among the peoples of different nationalities and faiths who dwell here love and brotherhood and sisterhood, peace and friendship. Uproot from their heart all hatred and enmity, all jealousy and vying for supremacy. Fulfill the yearning of all the people of our country to speak proudly in its honor. Fulfill their desire to see it become a light to all nations. Therefore, may it be your will that our land should be a blessing to all inhabitants of the world. May Huntsville continue to be an amazing city, cause to dwell among all peoples friendship and freedom, and soon fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Let them learn their ways of war no more. And together we say, Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rabbi. The minutes from the January 23rd, 2014 meeting have been received, and they'll stand approved. There's no objections. We're now at resolutions, special recognitions. Mayor, you have the floor.
Is Joy McKee in here? Here she comes. Joy, would you come up? I hear that you've had some national honors and recognition for Green Team under the Keep America Beautiful program. You got some big honors, and everybody come up. Come on, Thomas. Come on, Denise. And I would like for you to tell everybody about this, because it's a great honor, and you've honored Huntsville.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, we get so excited here in Huntsville to get honored on the national level and Keep America Beautiful. This is a real honor because not only did we get one recognition, we got two this year. So I'm going to let the people who really did the work and I do want to recognize you, Mayor, though, because you came to Denise and I a few years ago and said, I want something else in the recycling venue. And I want you to do a little bit more. So we reached out and we decided to do a bottle caps recycling program. And Denise is going to tell you a little bit about it, and we're so proud and excited to have won these awards.
Well, after you announced it about 4 years ago, we had no idea that it would take off like it has, but now it's increased by 50% each year. This year we have a record number of 39 schools participating. So we think they will far surpass the 3.2 million caps that they collected last year. And then the residents, the community has embraced it by recycling their plastic caps at any of the Huntsville fire stations. So we'd like to thank the fire stations for letting us make it convenient for residents to do that as well.
And Mrs. Battle recycles her caps.
Oh, yay.
And we use the caps to make paint buckets, right? In Troy, Alabama,
That's right, at KW Plastics.
Good.
Okay, and Thomas, if you want to tell about the Ditto Landing cigarette litter prevention program.
Absolutely. I'm absolutely proud to be a part of something so great as Operation Green Team and what we do. And I'm part of the cigarette litter prevention program. And we have a few ashtrays over at Ditto Landing, which is really important to everyone. Cigarette litter, cigarette butts are one of the biggest things that get littered. It's one of your bigger things that gets littered. And that's due to ignorance. Not a lot of people know, and a lot of people are educated about it. So I'm proud to be a part of something where we get to go out and educate people about that. And help our fishy friends as well not eat those cigarette butts. So I'm grateful to be a part of that. And I'm proud of Ditto Landing, and especially Nick. I want to give Nick a shout out for helping us so much and getting this program started so that we could win this award because of them. And I'm just grateful for all your help as well.
Mayor, I think it's important also to say that along with this, we had 56,000 volunteers last year with Operation Green Team. And everybody watching, we need that many more. And we hope that you will see opportunities to partner with Operation Green Team. It's one of the things that keeps our city clean and green, and it's an economic developing tool for our community. Thanks, Mayor, for all your support.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. 2 national recognitions from Keep America Beautiful for our green team. Congratulations. We would like to have Harry Hobbs, Dr. Harry Hobbs, come forward. Harry has some awards and some recognitions to present for us. And we're going to come down because Harry's wounded right now and he's on crutches. Harry, what awards and recognitions do we have tonight?
Well, first we'd like to call up Mr. Matthew Reed. Mr. Matthew Reed is our second Young Citizen of the Month for the year 2014 for February. And he has won this award for what he's doing for the community. This young man not only is a leader on the athletic field as team captain, co-captain of several sports, but also he cares enough about his fellow students to help tutor them. This is an outstanding student with a GPA of 4+ overall in his scholastic endeavors. And that just wasn't enough for him. He wanted everyone to succeed around him. So he volunteered his time, not only on the playing field, but in the classroom. And he really epitomizes what we're trying to recognize as the Community Awareness for Youth Young Citizen of the Month, as we have partnered with Star 99.1 radio station, along with aviation, with DynCorp International. And so we're very excited about that. And we just want to present him with our Human Relations Commission certificate. And we have a prize pack of other stuff for him as well, and then we'll finish it with the Coin of Excellence as the Director of the Community Awareness for Youth. But we're so proud of him, sir.
Good. Sarah Crocker, do you have a presentation?
Thank you. Matthew, we're just so proud of you and just honored to have been able to pick you out as our Young Citizen of the Month. We've got a certificate to present, and it says CAFY, Star 99.1, and the Human Relations Commission of the City of Huntsville is proud to honor Matthew Reed as the CAFY Star 99.1 Young Star Citizen of the Month. And it's signed by Mayor Battle, me from the Human Relations Commission, Dr. Harry Hobbs from CAFY, Kenny Anderson from the Multicultural Affairs Office, DynCorp, and Star 99.1. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. George Dugan from Dyn Aviation International.
It's so wonderful to see younger generation coming up and taking such good care of the community and doing what they can to help. It's just wonderful, and we're so proud of you in DynCorp International. So, got a few things here for you. First of all, it's our team hat. It's our aviation team hat. And it gets your name on it here. We've got a plaque for you here in appreciation for what you've done for our community. We've got a little something here for your iPod to go into, and it also has some music in it. It has every decade in it, going back to the 1950s up to present. So, let's see, what else we have here? Oh, just to promise you that it will get warm again in Huntsville, here's a fan. And then here's this is a Visa card for $100. You will have to go ahead and have this activated. You know, just call and have it activated. But that's in there for you. And also my card's in there if you need to contact me. So we really appreciate what you've done for the community.
And thank you, sir,
very much. Thank you.
DynCorp International, for just partnering with us, sir. Thank you, sir. Star 99.1, Director Buzz Stevens.
Star 99.1, so proud to be, we're really proud to be a part of this endeavor to support leadership at our early age. And Matthew, you are really the epitome of that. And here's a small appreciation just from the radio station of things that you have done, that you're going to do in the future. And we really got a lot of faith in you. We know you're going to do big things. So thank you so much, sir.
Sir, we want to end up and give you the coin of excellence there in our 4 different pillars: health, education, careers, and finances. Continue to do great things, and thank you for being a part of this program as we try to inspire other young folks in our community to be above and beyond. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Matthew, congratulations. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor Battle. On the agenda tonight, 6B2 has been deleted. 6B2 has been deleted. It's our intention to vote on 14E tonight, and so we'll ask for unanimous consent to do so. And 9B, 3, and 4, it's also our intention to vote on it tonight, and we'll ask for unanimous consent at the appropriate time. We have no business with outside legal representation. We have no public hearings to be held. We do have one public hearing to be set. We have a resolution to declare a public nuisance located at 1410 Calvary Street Northwest, Huntsville, Alabama, and to set a public hearing. This public hearing will be set for February 27, 2014 at the regular council meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Dr. Shower, second by Mr. Kling. Discussion. All those in favor of setting the hearing say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at communications from the public. When I call your name, you'll have 3 minutes to address the council on any issue you so desire. First up is Mr. Jerry Cox.
Jerry Cox, 4029 Telstar Circle. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome.
Mr. President, as a veteran of the United States Army, I wish to acknowledge the 9 U.S. military personnel killed in the war during the month of January, that being 6 United States Army soldiers, 2 United States Marines, and 1 United States Air Force airman. Mr. President, there were local TV news reports in January of a, quote, town hall meeting, unquote, on the subject of the hen ordinance. I thought tonight that you were setting a public hearing on said subject, but you just announced that it had been deleted. This issue should just fade away. I have yet to have anyone tell me that they want hens in their backyard. I believe the potential negatives outweigh the potential positives of this matter. There are more important matters affecting Southwest Huntsville that should be subjects of town hall meetings and public hearings. There are real issues. Number one, just 3 weeks into 2014, there were 3 homicides in Southwest Huntsville, all 3 within less than 1 mile of McDonald Elementary School. Number 2 issue, as many as 60% of homes in Bailey-Patton Estates in Southwest Huntsville have been targets of a crime, including my own home on January the 12th. Item number 3, Southwest Huntsville's middle school and an elementary school closed a few years ago. And now the announcement that McDonald Elementary and Butler High School will be closed. That means all 3 levels of our neighborhood schools will be shuttered. I doubt this has ever happened before in the state of Alabama. It is unfortunate that we residents and our elected officials have allowed events that gives rise to these 3 issues. Mr. President, on tonight's agenda on item 16, having some skin in the Stone Middle School area, I've asked that how did these two items come about, and why is this action in the public interest other than just stating so? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Cox.
Mr. President,
Ms. Queen.
there has been a widespread amounts of crime that's taken place, and I've had some contact with the police chief, and I know there have been some investigations. Is Chief Morris here, or can he give a response about what's been going on over with working with the West Precinct on that? Chief, you may recall we've had emails and contacts about the crime issues that have been going on in West Huntsville. Are you up on that, or is that something that the precinct captain would better be able to respond to?
Which specific issues?
Okay, there was a big wave there were several emails I'd sent you concerning crime and people that were hit, the Mabrys, other people, Apollo, Telstar.
The burglaries.
Yeah.
And the burglary unit, they have actually made some arrests over there. That's the Holiday Homes area is an area that is included in the initiative along with the Merrimack and the Low Mill area.
Bailey Patton, of course, is to the west, but it's
Yeah.
part of that area.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We monitor the calls for service. There's there is an increase in some activity over there, but the precinct commander is instituted some plans to deal with it, and the burglary squad is aware of it too.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Queen. Ms. Jackie Reed.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to thank the president of the city council for letting me know there would be a council meeting tonight. He has my interest at heart, and I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for allowing public input. And Mr. Clean, you always thinks I go to beauty shop on Thursday night just to be on TV. I didn't go this morning, so take a look at me. I couldn't drive down there. I just want you to see I don't go to beauty shop.
Miss Reed,
just
I think
to
you're
show
beautiful.
up on the council.
I think you're beautiful anyway. And
All right.
I miss not seeing you at Big Spring this week.
I appreciate that. I want to thank all the city employees, the police officers, the firefighters, all the city employees, and all the TV stations and radio stations that kept all the people off of the streets to save lives. I think it was one of the better things that I have ever seen with the disaster that we had in the city. I think it was great. I think it was life-saving, and I want to thank them and tell them that we really appreciate that as to keep them off the streets. Changing names of streets and names of schools is not part of my thinking of what we need to do in this city. We do not need to change the name of a street. If you get a new street in this city, name it after somebody. If you get a new school, name a gym after somebody. But quit changing names of streets, like Holiday Homes on here tonight, and I thought we already had a holiday drive or a holiday something. So, I mean, it's just always changing something in this city. Leave it alone. Let's go for the new stuff and leave all this other stuff alone and quit changing up the city and confusing everybody. That's just my opinion. I want to agree with everything that Mr. Jerry Cox said tonight. I think it was good. I hadn't laid the chickens to rest. I pray that you all let the chickens alone. I'm going to wear this shirt out if I don't quit wearing it around. Lay those chickens down and leave them alone. I'm tired of hearing about the chicken. 6 months, 6 planning commission meetings. Get over it. Stop it right now. We need to get on something bigger and better like crime. And these roads, don't blame the streets and the snow and ice for our roads in this city. They've been bad a long, long time before this ever happened. So you need to think about that one. Don't blame the weather with what's going on. I see on the agenda tonight there's something, an agreement. Hold 00 and explain it to me. When y'all start making deals out here, I need to know about them before you bring them to the council. 00. Maybe some of you could explain it when you get to it. I'm not for shutting Butler High School down. I'm still fighting with the good Dr. Wardisky about that one. We got 5 schools, McDowell, University Place, Terry Heights, Stone, all these schools. We got 5 schools over there that needs a high school. And I found out at some of the school board meetings, 126 buses run to the schools every day in this city.
Ms. Reed, do you need more time?
1 second.
Okay.
126 buses a day running in this city at $7.5 million a year. That's pretty bad. And when a utility bill at Lee High School is $30,000 a month, where's all the cost savings going on? I keep up with the money, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. We're now at 8 Huntsville utility items. Ms. Curtis, first of all, could you just give us a status of the power grid in Huntsville? How's everything? And do our neighborhoods and constituents have power?
Absolutely. As of our most recent information, we are down to one isolated outage on our system right now out in the Harvest Monrovia area that's affecting less than a dozen customers. At the height of the storm, we had as many as about 3,000 customers out at once. We had 4 or 5 large outages and a number of small outages scattered across the county throughout the evening and into midday today. But as of this afternoon, we were down to less than half a dozen, and as of right now, we're down to one more in the Harvest Monrovia area. We had up to 30 crews mobilized all across the county addressing those outages. Crews did an outstanding job of getting the power restored as quickly as they could given the road conditions, and so we stand almost with no outages right now.
Thank you, sir. Council members, Huntsville utility items. For the record, Mr. Olszewski has recused himself from the issue and will abstain on all votes. Are there any items you'd like to hold, or do you want a further explanation on any of the items 8B, C, D, or E? Hearing none, then the chair moves for consolidation approval 8A through E.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers, and I'll just read them real quick. 8A is a resolution authorizing approval to purchase participation in Alabama One Call. B is a resolution authorizing approval to renew the annual Doble hardware and software lease. C is a resolution authorizing approval to purchase annual software support for on-base imaging. D is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding between the City of Huntsville, Huntsville Utilities, and Madison County 911 Center for Sharing Communication Facilities. E is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a proposed new metering installation agreement covering arrangements for TVA's provision of a new 46 kilovolt revenue metering installation at the County Line Road 161 kilovolt substation.
Mr. President, I guess just one general question, if I could. Mr. Gerdes, I understand that there's nothing up here pertaining to smart meters, and I think when smart meters do come, you're going to give an opportunity for public comment and input?
That's correct, Councilman.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor of consolidation approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And please let the record indicate Mr. Olszewski abstained from voting. Council members, are there any general questions about the Huntsville utilities that happened over the week? Joe, if you could please take back a big thank you from us to everybody that works at Huntsville Utilities. They've done a great job, and I've heard nothing but compliments on their hard work, and I know they've been out 24/7, and we appreciate you and them.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
We have no board appointments to be voted on. We do have several board appointment nominations, and we are going to take 9B, 3, and 4 up when we get to them. 9B1 is a nomination of Chris Cinciola for reappointment to the Huntsville-Madison County Emergency Management Board for a term to expire on July 1st, 2017. We'll vote on that at our next regular council meeting. 2 is a nomination of Jim Batson for reappointment to the Board of Examinations Appeal for Construction Industries for a term to expire on September 21st, 2018. This was also made by Mr. Kling, and we'll take that up at our next council meeting. Council members, as we announced at the beginning of the meeting, 3 and 4 we would like to take up tonight by unanimous consent because of this is a person that the person that held the position has passed away, and the record needs to indicate that Mr. Olszewski is abstaining from this vote and has recused himself from this issue. It's a nomination of Dr. Dorothy Houston for reappointment to the Huntsville Natural Gas Utility Board for a term to expire on July 1st, 2015. The chair moves for unanimous consent to take this item up tonight.
Second.
Second. Mr.
Aye.
Culver, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Kling?
Aye.
Dr. Showers?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. We have unanimous consent. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to appoint Dr. Dorothy Houston to the term that was held by Mr. William Myers Johnson. All of us know tonight that he passed this life. She will assume the term that will expire on July 1, 2015 for the Natural Gas Committee.
Thank you, Dr. Showers. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we would appoint.
Dr. Showers, let's get to this by unanimous consent first. We have, make a motion for unanimous consent to consider the appointment of Dr. Dorothy Houston to the Huntsville Water Utility Board.
Second.
A second by Dr. Showers. Mr. Culver.
Aye.
Mr. Kling.
Aye.
Dr. Showers.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We have unanimous consent to consider this item tonight. Now, Dr. Showers, you'd be
I
appropriate now.
move to appoint Dr. Dorothy Houston to the Water Utility Board for a term to expire July 1, 2015.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Showers, second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Mr. Oshevsky abstained and recused himself from that. 10 is approval. Are there any other nominations before we move on? We're at 10, approval of expenditures. 10A is a resolution authorizing expenditure for payment. Mr. Kling.
Mr. President, move for payment of expenses in the amount of $23,371,186.09.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kling, second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? It carries. Mr. Kling, do you have a Finance Committee report?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to turn the floor over to Randy Taylor, the City Finance Director.
Council members, Mayor, we do have a few figures we can report to you for through January. Taxes, most importantly, sales tax. That would reflect the holiday season that we've been waiting for. Our December sales tax figures were down from the December before. This is actually collected in January, so that represents the holiday season. We were down 0.8%, so just above a minus 1% change. So that's not where we wanted to be. That pulled our year-to-date figure down a little bit. We're at 2.7% year-to-date, expecting 3% in our budget. So we're a little bit off that mark as of right now, so we'll just have to stay tuned to that and pay attention. No way to determine why it was up or down, but it was lower than we had seen in the previous year. As far as other revenues go, it's still a bit early for some of those. Property taxes are right where they need to be at 2% growth. Our revenue from Huntsville Utilities, amounts that they pay to us, those amounts are exactly where they need to be as well. So those are the two that we know with confidence. We'll have to wait another month or two on privilege licenses, which is our second highest source of revenue. So, but we think that those are going to be within our budget projections as well. So that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thanks, your Mayor Battle.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, we'd like to address the chickens. I know that we've ruffled Ms. Reed's feathers over the past couple of weeks, but we brought up chickens and the idea that somebody could have chickens in their backyard, 3 chickens per yard, no roosters, only hens. But it really was an idea that that wasn't fully explained. The public was not educated well on it. We took it to Planning Commission, and there was a vote of 9-3 against it at Planning Commission. There's not the movement or the support for it at this time. So we have pulled it from the agenda and will not introduce it until such time there is support for it, and that may be a long time from now. So, Ms. Reed, we don't want to ruffle your feathers anymore. Thank you. Secondly, I would like to say some thank yous out there. I think we need to thank a lot of people who got us through this. Through the last couple of days. We have people at Public Works who have worked 24/7 for the past 4 days. Mr. Hatfield has told his wife that he would take her to the Vince Gill concert tonight, and I have a feeling that he may be sleeping through the Vince Gill concert since he has not had sleep for 3 days. The public safety did a great job with this. Our public transit system, along with Handy Ride. They moved 250 people to dialysis over the last couple of days in the midst of some pretty trying conditions. And Mr. Brown, if you would thank everybody on your team for what they've done. Huntsville Utilities, they worked admirably, and we appreciate their work. And also to ALDOT. I was up in my office about 5:30 this morning and saw the ALDOT truck going across the elevated portions of I-565, spreading spreading salt or sand, and they kept our roads open in the midst of five inches of snow. So I want to thank everybody who's done a great job with that. And I think that we as a community owe everybody out there a big round of applause and a big thanks for what they did for us. You may notice there's some extra people in town. Right now there's the Quad A Joseph Cribbins event that's happening over at the Von Braun Civic Center. The wrestling tournament, state wrestling tournament, starts tomorrow at the Von Braun Civic Center. Next week we have Winter Association of the U.S. Army, which is the largest convention, trade show, and seminar on the U.S. Army that is done in the United States. This one is second to the Washington, D.C. Fall conference that they have. So we will have a lot of new people in town over the next couple of days. I'd like to ask everybody from Huntsville, make yourself an ambassador. Tell them hi. Make sure that they know where they're going and try to help them out and help them find nice places to spend their money, because we're counting on them for the stimulus to bring back up that sales tax number that that we were just told about from our finance director, Mr. Taylor. Also, we'd like to offer condolences, thoughts, and prayers to Bob Harrison. Bob is our county commissioner. His mom passed away last week, and they had the funeral last Tuesday in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we like for everybody to keep them in the thoughts and prayers. And let's see, it was the day before yesterday or 3 days ago, Dr. Showers and I were at Lakewood. We talked about Lakewood Park. If you saw it 4 years ago, you would have seen an old beat-up backstop there and a chain-link fence that was about to fall down. Our Parks and Recreation has done a super job with that. They've added split-rail fencing there, a walking track, pavilion, a kaboom playground, and tennis courts to make that into a real community center. And Dr. Showers, I'm very proud of what's happened there, and thank you for your help in making that happen. We also have some appointments to make tonight. My appointments, for the record, I like to appoint Katie Stamps to the Huntsville Historic Preservation Commission to fill an unexpired term that will expire on May 14th, 2015. And I'd like to appoint Kyle Collins to the Planning Commission of the City of Huntsville to fill an unexpired term that will expire on October 26, 2014. Kyle Collins is replacing Donna Lamb, and many of you know Donna. She has served in many capacities in this city, just about all of them volunteer capacities, and has been a great asset for this community. She is splitting time between here and another place outside the city, and so is not able to serve on the Planning Commission. And I want to say a big thank you from the City of Huntsville for all the work that she has done to make sure that our community is a great place to live. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor Battle. Mr. Kling.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next Monday is President's Day, and because of that, the library is going to be closed, so I have rescheduled my monthly town meeting. It's going to be the following Monday, February the 24th. Primary topic that we're going to be talking about is going to be upcoming road resurfacing, and I think once Mr. Hatfield gets kind of rested up a little bit from the last couple of days, they're gearing and preparing for millions of dollars. I think it's about $3 million worth of road resurfacing, at which 2/3 of that's going to be going in the neighborhood streets throughout the city. And we're going to be having some good information about that. Of course, we can talk about other topics that folks see fit to bring up. Also, I want to, during the last couple of weeks, I attended the meeting for the Holiday Homes Neighborhood Association, and want to congratulate Tina Rich for being elected president. She'll be succeeding Steve Morgan and Pam Cobb, the two previous presidents, and that's certainly been a great organization. It's been great to work with, and they've been able to do some real good things within the neighborhood. Also, Dennis Madsen was able to go out for a ride with B.J. Robinson over through West Huntsville as part of the work that he's doing to come up with a comprehensive city plan. And B.J. and I had some good communication beforehand, and I know he pointed out the fact that Patton Road is sort of the front door to the city, so to speak, when you come off the Arsenal. And I think BJ made a very persuasive argument to Dennis, and we're going to try to see if we can get some things to happen to improve that. Michelle McMullen from Low Mill is going to be riding with Dennis, I think sometime next couple of weeks, and she's had some health issues lately, and we wish her, good recovery from that. I'd like to ask, is Shane Davis here? Like they say, come on down. Shane, how you doing? We, have been working to try to find a solution to Walmart leaving its present location, and I think y'all have been doing some marketing. Can you tell us where you are on that process as far as the something going into the old Walmart property at Drake and the Parkway?
Councilman Kling, at this time, there's nothing definite we can announce, but the property is being marketed and several retailers are currently looking at it. I would think as Walmart becomes a little closer to moving their new location, something more definite would come about.
Okay. But y'all have had some contact with different businesses
Yes, sir.
concerning that property. Okay. Okay, well, thank you, and please stay in touch with, we'll stay in touch on that. Mr. President, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kling. Dr. Showers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was delighted to announce, as the mayor has already mentioned, that we had an opportunity to be out at Lakewood this week. And you're right, Mayor. If you had any knowledge of what it looked like last year, you would not recognize the park today. The new walking trails, tennis courts, new playground equipment, just a uplift of the whole park. And I just want to thank the recreational department and others who contributed to that effort. I attended this week a symposium on health. Representative Laura Hall and the Reverend Dr. Julius R. Scruggs hosted a discussion that dealt with affordable health care. Next Tuesday, we'll be going up to the Toriola plant where they're going to launch their new V6 engine. I'll be joining the mayor and others for that opportunity as they reveal the new V6 engine. This weekend, Sunday, the Girls Inc., Stephanie Malone and others are hosting another symposium that deals with TNT, teaching and tutoring our young boys, and we're looking forward to participate in that. And again, I do solicit the prayers of this community, as has been announced tonight, that a great board member of the Utilities, Water and Gas, Mr. Johnson, passed, and he has 3 daughters, and we solicit your prayers for them in this hour. Mr. President, I would like to make a request that at our next work session that you would put on success for the future, to have a discussion on that particular work session night. There's a possibility that we're going to be asked to create a new committee dealing with success for the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Showers. Mr. Olszewski.
I just want to make sure that, it's been said a couple times, but as always, I'm real impressed with the city staff on how they handle weather and all the things that go with weather. I think the general public, it just happens, thinks it just happens, but it doesn't just happen. There's a lot of great planning going on, a lot of great work, and as always, it's like a real solid military operation, Jerry, to watch these guys get after it. It's really impressive, to be honest with you. It went, you know, I know you said it, Mayor, but I can't help it. I gotta jump on this AUSA thing. You know, this is big, really is big. It's never been in pretty much anywhere but Florida. And hopefully our weather will be a little warmer next week. But we really have that event this next week because of all the BRAC and the 4-star headquarters and all the above. We could not have pulled that off as a city without that kind of talent here. And Mayor, we appreciate you doing what you're doing behind the scenes to bring that outfit here, because that's big. That's opportunity for more opportunity in the future. And then, Mayor, I know you're going to be at least I was told you're going to be at it. I'm pretty excited about it. Chaffee's does its normal monthly thing, and Monday the 24th, they got you coming down there, and appreciate you doing that. But they also got Mr. Hayes coming out and see one more time what he lays out for what we're going to do. Something with Hazelton Square, but you know, we'll see how that works out. But I'm excited that they're talking about Wardinsky even being there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Culver.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very briefly, I do want to ditto everything that's been said by the mayor and President Russell and my colleagues as it relates to our City of Huntsville employees and the work they did over the last few days. Also, Huntsville Utilities. Sometimes they don't get mentioned enough until there is something going awry, but I'm eternally grateful to them for having taken care of our residents, keeping everyone, for the most part, with power. So my thanks to all of you for that. Also, I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day for you and your significant other on tomorrow. Please go out and spend lots of money so that we can get our sales tax up, make up for that deficit. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Culver. Now that you've mentioned that, the mayor wants us to adjourn early because he forgot something. So,
Mr. President.
The store's closed at 9, Mayor. Mr. Oshevsky.
I got one add-on. I only say this because it's a safety issue. We really did a lot of great work here, but let's not fool ourselves that tomorrow morning could be pretty bad. Sure. Because it's very wet out there, and if weather's down in the 32, 31, 30 time frame, there's ice. And I'd argue that ice is probably the worst enemy we have. And I know it is in my other world, but ice is a big deal. I don't want to let that pass. This thing ain't over. Sure. Tomorrow's a big day with the cold and all the wet.
Upper 20s tonight.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I too want to thank really all the emergency management agency team. We have a great community, and I think that's one of the things that separates us from other communities. Each day they met to go over the weather briefing. It was nice to see the county commission chair, the Madison City mayor, of course, representatives from Huntsville. They're working together for what's best for not only the city of Huntsville, but best for our whole community. Especially want to thank HIMSI. They do a wonderful job. They're certainly somebody that we forget about quite often, but they staff our area and make sure citizens get to the hospital they need to get to. And they also help us with our sporting events. They will be staffing the wrestling tournament tomorrow, and that's a great comfort to outsiders when they come in our community to know that we have somebody there from HIMSI to help them. So not only do we thank all our city employees that do such a good job, we thank the whole emergency management and team, and we're lucky to live in this community. Tonight we have with us some Boy Scouts, and I hadn't talked to them before, but I would like one of y'all to go to the microphone and tell us what badge you're working on and what troop you're with. Introduce yourself as well.
My name's Nate Kelton. I'm from Troop 466. I used to be part of Troop 757. You guys have a picture of us up on your website.
Great.
But this is for the citizenship in the community.
Okay.
And so I have to just kind of sit through a town council meeting.
Kind of have to, huh?
And explain about what I learned. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we can be of any help or answer any questions after the meeting, please come on up, and we'll be glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, you can go talk to Miss Reed. She'll tell you what she knows. We're now at 13, unfinished business items for action. 13A is ordinance number 1449 for the annexation of landline west of U.S. Highway 431 South and on the north side of Plainview Drive. This was introduced January 23rd, 2014 at the regular council meeting. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Ms. Bostic, can you explain this, please?
Yes, sir. This is an existing single-family home located on the north side of Plainview. It's 3/4 of an acre, and it is in the Big Cove community.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at 14, new business items for introduction. We have several items to introduce tonight, and 14E we plan to take up by unanimous consent. 14A is an introduction of an ordinance approving the following street name change: a portion of Viridian Way Southeast to be renamed Bluff View Drive Southeast. B is an introduction of an ordinance regarding the naming of Holiday Drive, not to be confused with Holiday Road or Holiday Hills neighborhood. C is an introduction of an ordinance concerning the annexation of land on the west side of Christopher Drive and north of U.S. Highway 73 West. D is an introduction of an ordinance concerning the annexation of land on the west side of Nick Fitchard Road and west of Research Park Boulevard. E has been asked that we consider tonight by unanimous consent. It is an ordinance concerning the annexation of land on the north side of U.S. Highway 72 West and east of Jeff Road. The chair moves for unanimous consent to consider this item tonight.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Mr. Culver, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Olszewski? Mr. Kling?
Aye.
Aye.
Dr. Showers votes aye. The chair votes aye. We have unanimous consent. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Ms. Boston, can you explain this issue and also explain why why you're asking for unanimous consent to vote on this issue tonight?
Yes, sir. This is 13 acres of land. It is on the north side of Highway 72, currently vacant property. Was a home. It's being sold for commercial development. It is actually a new car dealership location. They are very anxious to start construction and therefore needed to have the annexation this evening.
Thank you. Discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. F is an introduction of an ordinance to amend ordinance number 10676 fee schedule for Animal Services Center. G is an introduction of an ordinance to amend Article 1, Chapter 5, Section 5-1, Article 2, Division 1, Chapter 5, Sections 541, 573, and 574 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Huntsville due to new wording, changes in adoption, and redemption rules and regulations.
Mr. President?
Ms. Kling.
I was wondering, I know it's just for introduction, but Marie, could you give an overview of what is being proposed as far as Holiday Drive? There is Holiday Homes, and then there's a HOLLADAY that's being discussed, that's being introduced tonight.
Yes, sir. This is actually, should be Holiday Boulevard. That was a misprint on the agenda, so it's actually Holiday Boulevard and not Holiday Drive, which would be exactly the same sound and name as the existing Holiday. It's actually in Limestone County, and we have spoken with emergency services and traffic, and they've concurred that it would not be a problem with any type of directional information since one's a boulevard, one's a drive, and they're in different counties.
Okay, so Boulevard versus Drive, even though they sound alike, and they're spelled differently, is what y'all are proposing.
Yes, sir.
We're now at 15 new business items for consideration or action. Keeping with our practice, please notify the chair of any items you'd like to hold.
Yes, I would like to hold 15U and 1500.
Mr. President, I'd like to hold 15Z, as in zebra.
Thank you. The chair holds 15G, 15II, and 15MM. So right now we have 15G, 15U, 15Z, 15II, 15MM, and 1500. Are there any others? Hearing none. 15A is a request for authorization to advertise and fill 2 budgeted temporary part-time programmer analysis positions at a higher rate than minimum if necessary. B is a request for authorization to advertise and fill the position of Network Engineer 2, grade 19, at a higher rate than minimum if necessary. C is a request for authorization to advertise and fill the position of 2 regular full-time recreation aides, grade 7. D is the ordinance to declare property as surplus and be sold at public auction. E is a request for authorization to advertise and fill 1 budgeted position of Equipment Technician 2, grade 13. F is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute agreement with the Lawrence County Commission for the transfer of personal property. H is a request for authorization to advertise and fill 1 position of Parking and Public Transit Services Worker, grade 6, at higher than minimum if necessary. I is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter agreements with the low bidders as outlined in the attached summary of bids for acceptance. J is a resolution authorizing the mayor into a joint purchasing agreement with the Madison County Commission for the joint purchase of crushed stone. K is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an installment agreement with RecTech Inc. for unpaid taxes. L is an ordinance to amend budget ordinance number 13630 by changing appropriating funding for various departments and funds. M is a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the contract with Reed Contract Service, Inc. for periodic bid for various construction projects, 2013, project number 6513 SP 31 by change order number 1. N is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with the low bidder Miller & Miller, Inc. for Gateway Greenway Phase 2 base bid and option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, option number 4A, and option number 5, project number 6513 WP01. O is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with S&ME, Inc. for engineering services for Aldrich Creek Channel maintenance projects, project number 6514 DM09. P is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter agreement with Little John Engineering Associates, Inc., doing business as G.W. Jones and Sons Consulting Engineers, to accept the assignment of the following contract owned by ICA Engineering, Inc. as of December 31st, 2013, resolution number 13-801. Q is a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the contract with Reed Contracting Service, Inc. for Martin Road or Redstone Arsenal base bid and option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, project number 6510 RD09 by change order number 1. R is a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the contract with Reed Contracting Service, Inc. for industrial access and turn lanes to the Toyota plant base bid and alternate number 1, project number 6513 SP24 by change order number 1. S is a resolution authorizing the mayor to agreement with the low bidder Reed Contract Service, Inc. for WPC sanitary sewer relocation County Line Road and I-565, project number 6512 SM01, and ALDOT project number IM I-565-307. T is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with Garver LLC for land surveying services for sanitary sewer manhole mapping, project number 6514 SP08. V is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute condemnation proceedings to acquire sanitary sewer easements and temporary construction easements for Goose Creek Sewer Project. W is a resolution authorizing the city attorney to seek forfeiture of the surety bond issued by Western Surety Company. X is a resolution authorizing the clerk treasurer to invoke First Commercial Bank letter credit number 129 for Hawks Ridge 5th edition. Y is a resolution authorizing the city attorney to settle the claim of Joseph and Judy DeFleur. Double A is a resolution authorizing the city attorney to settle the claim of Charmaine Johnson. Double B is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute modification number 12, the supplemental development agreement TIF 5 Series 2010A to the annexation development agreement between the city of Huntsville and LW Redstone Company, LLC. Double C is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a settlement agreement in the lawsuit entitled James Mason and Joanne Person versus City of Huntsville in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Alabama, Northeastern Division, case number CV 02794-CLS. Double D is a resolution authorizing the mayor to lease agreement between the City of Huntsville and Recovery Services, Inc. for the lease of 820 North Park Memorial Parkway. Double E is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute agreement between the City of Huntsville and Jake Marshall Services, Inc. for LED retrofit lighting. Double F is an ordinance declaring property as surplus and authorizing it to be sold at public auction. Double G is a resolution authorizing the mayor to apply for and execute a fiscal year 2014 EPA air grant in an amount of $100,000 in federal funding to support the city's air pollution control program. Double H is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with Standard and Associates for the professional services to develop and administer written and practical examinations for the fire inspector and investigator. Double J is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with the town of Owens Crossroad. Double K is a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Double L is a resolution authorizing the mayor to issue travel funds in advance for police department employee attending the FBI National Academy. Double N is an ordinance to amend budget ordinance number 13-630 by changing authorized personnel strength in various departments and funds. Double P is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute agreement to accept DC Fast Charger donation from Nissan North America, Inc. Chair moves from consolidation approval of 15A through F, 15H through 15T, 15V through 15Y, 15 double A through 15 double H, 15 double J through 15 double L, 15 double N, and 15 double P. Second by Mr. Kling. All those in favor of consolidation approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at 15G. 15G is a resolution authorizing the mayor in agreement with Family Services Center, Inc. for services to the homeless population.
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Shower, second by the chair. Mr. Binion, can you explain this, please?
This is an item where we were awarded additional funds from ADECA for our homeless for emergency solutions grant. Sometimes they'll have other agencies or other municipalities that can't utilize all of their funds, so they've awarded us the $19,000+ for additional services, and we'll be using this for a transitional housing program. A transitional housing program basically takes care of homeless people or homeless individuals who are single parents and have children enrolled in Huntsville schools, and so we'll use this for that particular purpose.
Thank you. Questions, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 15U is a resolution authorizing the mayor to modify the agreement with Johnson and Associate Consulting Engineers LLC for engineering, design, and construction administration services for Carmichael Park, project number 6512 DM25 by modification number 2.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Dr. Showers, a second by Mr. Kling.
Mark, I've got it.
Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah, this is an extension of the existing contract. What the service they're providing as needed as we add material into that site ensures that we have the drainage proper, make sure we're complying with all the 8M requirements in that particular piece of property. Ultimately, once it's filled up and completed, then Carmichael Park would be turned over. That piece of land would be turned over to Parks and Rec and be available to become a park.
Thank you, sir. Question?
Yes, Mr. President, to Mr. Hamilton, what is the completion date for this project?
Councilman Showers, we don't have a specific date. It is getting fairly close, and what I mean by that is as we have excess soil and materials that come out of engineering projects, particularly if we do any demolition projects, the materials that are suitable to go in there begin to fill that up. And if we have any significant demolitions in the future, it'll fill up that site. It's getting pretty close, but we don't have any projects where I can give you a specific date because there's none on the books right now, but I think that we're getting pretty close on that site.
Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 15Z is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Huntsville and CCI Group, Inc. for the use of engineering plans for Goss Road realignment construction on Redstone Arsenal, Alabama.
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Showers, second by Mr. Culver. Mr. Gelfand.
Members of the council, this is in connection with the EUO project, and if you recall, the City of Huntsville had provided $2.5 million for use by Redstone Arsenal in connection with infrastructure improvements on that on Redstone Arsenal. Those funds have been actually transferred to the Federal Building Authority to contract directly for the construction of Goss Road improvements and for general officers' quarters on Redstone Arsenal. The City of Huntsville had initially contracted for the design of the engineering work on Goss Road, and since that work is now going to be performed or administered by Redstone Arsenal and the Federal Building Authority, we are transferring or selling those plans to the entity with whom they are contracting so that the city can recoup those monies and use them for another purpose.
Thank you, sir. Questions? Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Double I is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter a memorandum of understanding between the City of Huntsville and the Cyber Huntsville Corporation.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Dr. Showers, second by Mr. Kling.
Mr. President, I might mention, we have been working on the cyber effort for the past 5 years. We've had over 100 companies working, over 200 volunteers working in the cyber effort. This is, and Ms. Jordan has been our conduit to that, has attended all the cyber meetings. And Michelle, you want to talk to us a little bit about this?
Sure, Mayor, Mr. Russell. This memorandum of understanding is between the Cyber Huntsville Corporation, the North Alabama Community College of the City of Huntsville, the City of Scottsboro, Jackson County Economic Development Authority, the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and the Alabama State Board of Education District 8. It's simply an agreement between these entities to promote, advocate, and support cyber activities along this corridor.
Thank you.
No funds.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Yes, Alabama A&M has a division that involves cyber. Is there any reason why they were not included in this? You named several names that are included, and I raise that because I know they have a program in that particular arena.
They can certainly be a part. I'd be happy to take it back to the group. This is just the working group that's been established.
Would you do that?
Sure.
And report back to the council what that is?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Showers. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Double M is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter agreement with North Alabama Coalition for the Homeless, Inc.
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Shower, second by Mr. Culver. Mr. Binion, can you explain this, please?
Yes, as you all know, we worked with North Alabama Coalition of the Homeless in the last few weeks to establish warming centers. Most of the materials and the food and transportation was donated by churches. What we're doing is we have UDAG funds, Urban Development Action Grant funds, that we're asking to have the ability to supplement some of the things that we were not able to get volunteers for. We're asking for up to $5,000, but we won't spend that. We just didn't want to have to come back to the council each time we needed some funds for when a warming center was open.
Thank you. Discussions or questions?
Question, can you tell us where they're going to be located at?
Currently, the warming center is located at Grateful Life Church on Oakwood. And we also had one during the one of the cold spells at Operation Stand Down.
Mr. Culver, did you have questions?
Yes. Is this going to be an ongoing thing? I mean, $5,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money.
We were kind of behind the gun in trying to get it established, so we wanted to do that to get it established. We have not identified funds that we can do anything beyond that. We don't expect to spend that unless we could continue to have extreme cold during this winter season. But as far as what we're going to do in the future, we have not figured that out at this point.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 00 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter a development agreement between the City of Huntsville and RCP Merchants Walk, LLC.
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Showers. The chair will second that. Mr. Davis.
Council members, you may remember back in 2011 that Mayor Battle and the administration commissioned a study and a report to start revitalizing Memorial Parkway. Tonight, I bring you one of the first large projects of the fruits of our labor for that. 00 is a development agreement with the City of Huntsville and RCP Merchants Walk for the shops of Merchants Walk. The project is proposed to be located at the corner of Bob Wallace Memorial Parkway, just north of the Parkway Place Mall. This slide shows you the number of parcels that will be assembled for the project. As you can see, is most of the project site is pretty much undeveloped since the 1970s. The project overview. The redevelopment project is approximately 7.6 acres of Memorial Parkway for retail development. The retail project size would consist of 100,000 square feet of new retail at the corner of Bob Wallace Memorial Parkway. The capital investment is just under $50 million and is estimated to create 300 new reoccurring jobs.
That's good.
City revenues from the investment, the estimated building permit would be $158,000. Projected construction tax revenue collected during the construction would be $1.4 million from building materials and such. The 25-year sales tax revenues from the development is estimated at $58.75 million. The property tax for that same period in time would be $1.4 million. The business license collected over the same period for the businesses to locate there is $1.8 million. Total city revenues from this development over the 25-year period would generate $63.51 million for the city. Currently, at the proposed investment that we would need to make would give the city a 3.5-year return on investment just for the main retailer or the anchor retailers proposed for the site. As you can see on the screen, this is the proposed redevelopment site layout. Would consist of a very large organic grocer, and then two-story retail buildings, and then the relocation of current tenant Regions Bank onto the property. This is a proposed rendering and layout of the property. As I mentioned before, the main acre will be a 42,000 square foot Whole Foods. Council, I may remind you that during Mayor Battle's tenure, we've held 2 retail summits throughout our city. And behind the IKEA, this is the #1 retailer our community's asked for the last 4 years. Would have a public parking facility that would have 254 spaces, and then two-story buildings totaling just over 50,000 square feet of additional retail. And then, as I mentioned, Regions Bank would locate a new facility on site. Their current facility is over 55 years old. Again, just some other renderings of the proposed development. So what's the city involvement? The proposed shops of Merchants Walk would development would require relocation of Commerce Court Drive, the construction of a 2-level parking garage, and relocation of various public utilities that are currently on site. The city's fixed cost for, should you vote on this tonight, would be capped at $8 million. As this council is very much aware, historically we have joint ventured in retail projects like this, such as Parkway Place Mall, Bridge Street Town Center, and the current Twickenham Square that's almost complete. So the public parking garage. The city would enter into a 25-year lease of the public parking facility. The developer would be responsible for all costs associated with the parking garage, including all construction costs, all operational and maintenance costs, utilities, insurance, safety, and general housekeeping of the facility, general repairs and upkeep of the facility, and also the development calls for to provide full replacement should a catastrophic event happen, such as a tornado or something to remove the garage. The city would make lease payments for the 25-year lease in the parking facility under the following terms. The first payment the city would make towards our lease would be $2 million issued at the issuance of a building and grading permit and the start of foundations for the parking facility and the Whole Foods. We would not make our second payment until the opening of Whole Foods and a CO was granted on the parking garage. Our third payment would come once the remaining 2-story retail buildings, which is 54,500 square feet, was complete. And then for there forward, the next 3 payments would happen on the anniversary of that CO of the remaining retail. The city would provide lease payments from the sales tax proceeds generated from this development. The 25-year parking lease, as I mentioned, our cost is fixed at $8 million, and by the way, that is the estimated cost for the garage. So how would we recoup that? As I mentioned, the permitting fees would be $158,000 initially at the start of the development. Sales tax from development of construction is $1.35, just under $1.4 million. The first year sales tax from the development is estimated at just over $2 million, and then years 2 and 3 at full development would generate $2.4 million. So you can see from the screen, over the first 3 years, $8,378,000 would be collected. So our payback is 3 years. City benefits from the development. The addition of a quality life retailer. Whole Foods is considered nationally as a quality life retailer. I can tell you, with working industrial development projects with the city this summer, with site selectors looking for to bring quality jobs to our city, 2 of those projects we worked on, one of the questions in RFP was a quality of life retailer such as Whole Foods. As I mentioned, someone like Whole Foods in this development that the development teams put together, locating on our parkway, will be a catalyst for parkway redevelopment. A retailer such as this locating along that corridor will have others looking. An increased tax base for the 7-acre property. As I showed you in the previous slides, it's not currently in its highest and best use form. We truly believe this development we have before you will be of that nature. Increased revenues from the additional new retail development. I showed you those earlier, the amount of retail generated from the overall development. With the Whole Foods located in our market, Huntsville will be elevated by retailers not currently in our market. They're a leader for other retailers to follow, such as people like Macy's and Nordstrom's, the Container Store, and others that our citizens have asked for. I put this slide up just to kind of give you a little background of what type of retailer Whole Foods is to a community. They're routinely named one of the best places to work. They were in 2013 named the most ethical company, and then they do a lot of give back in their community. They have a foundation called Whole Food Kids that work in schools on nutrition and providing funding for that. They have a local produce loan program, which they try to serve local produce in their stores. And then their Whole Planet Foundation, which helps numerous poor and needy organizations, homeless camp missions, and even global food aid. That concludes, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Kling?
Mr. Davis, I guess let's go back to the bottom line. You're saying the city what's being proposed is the city would put up $8 million. You're saying that $8 million would be recouped in about 3.5 years, and then over the whole 25-year life cycle of that parking garage, we would make $56 million in new tax money. Is that?
That's correct.
Okay, saw that. Okay. Since you're talking about the parkway, I know we're talking about 100,000 cars a day going over that section of the parkway, and certainly I hope you'll keep in mind the, catty corner over there. Looks like that Walmart could be a good opportunity site also.
This will help accelerate that site.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further questions? Mr.
President.
Dr. Showers.
I would be remiss. The mayor briefed all of us on this project, so it's not something that I'm being blindsided by. Mr. Davis, I'll say to you what I've said to you and the mayor, is that there's another part of the city that we need the same effort. We need the same commitment to create development in a part of town that is missing the commitment to have that kind of business commitment that we see here tonight, and I strongly support this.
Yes, sir.
However, on the north end of the parkway, we do have some vacant property that's out there, and I would be remiss if I would not say publicly that you and the mayor indicated that we do have some prospective plans for that part of town. I just want the citizens who drive by there every day and see a vacant lot, Oakwood, there at Max Luther on both sides, that we have not forgotten, and hopefully in the very near future we'll have some plans that we can present like we are tonight, somebody making a commitment to locate in those three parcels where we have vacant space today. So I would ask that we'll continue to solicit prospects for those areas in North Huntsville. We got Walmart up on Sparkman Drive. That's our largest grocery, where the majority of people who live in the north shop for groceries. And certainly we are still crying out for more opportunities like that and others in that part of town.
Dr. Showers, yes, and I want to make it clear that both Mayor Battle, myself, and Michelle Jordan actively market all parts of our city. When we briefed you last week on this, we've got two projects that I can't talk about right now that's up in that area that we hope will come to fruition over the summer, but we're actively marking all parts. Even South Huntsville, I know John's got the same concern in his district, and we're balancing the parkway as far as development. We've got maps with opportunity sites, and it's starting to really make a difference, and we think this whole food development will even increase those opportunities.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis, I have questions. Why lease the garage instead of own it? Why isn't the city owning this garage?
Councilman Russell, we debated on that, and come the best opportunity for the city is to lease. We get 100% control of the garage, just as if we owned it. Two, we don't have to expend $8 million worth of capital immediately. And then the other positives is, one, we collect sales property tax from the lease. And then two, we have no maintenance cost, and we've got a fixed construction cost. We know right now tonight, this council will know exactly what you put into the project.
And what do you expect the cost of the garage to be?
It's $8 million.
You think?
Yes.
So we went out for bid. You think it would come in at $8 million or less?
At least.
Okay.
At least.
Okay. Will the parking lot be free to citizens?
At this time, yes.
And who will make that decision?
The city. In the development agreement, we have control whether to charge or not charge. Right now, naturally, we are anticipating it to be free because we want people to come shop and collect sales tax.
Okay, but in the end, the city council would have the right to,
that's correct,
to approve or not
yes.
to approve that? Okay. Mr. Gelfand, I read some of the safeguards in it. Who are we leasing, who are we proposing to lease this garage from, and discuss why the payment plan was negotiated as it was and what the safeguards are for the city if the developer doesn't do what they say they're going to do?
Well, the lease is with the developer.
And who is that?
The
RPC or whatever?
RCP Merchants.
RCP,
Right,
okay.
RCP Merchants Capital, which is a limited liability company formed. Most limited liability companies are kind of single asset companies that are formed for a specific project, but the developers behind that, I think the member managing partner is listed on the development agreement, and there are there are known developers behind that. Your other questions were?
Why was the lease payment structures where they weren't structured over 25 years? And then what are the safeguards if we put this $2 million in and the parking lot doesn't get built?
Yes.
What happens?
Yes. It was structured that way so that the developers could have capital up front to complete construction of the improvements so that the project could move forward. There is a safeguard in the agreement that if the developer does not proceed with construction by a date certain, that they have to return $2 million to the city of Huntsville. We have to make an upfront payment to them there's an initial upfront payment of $2 million that we make upon the completion of footings and foundations, I believe is how it is phrased. If they don't move forward with construction by a date certain, they have to return a cash payment to the city of that $2 million, and then we don't make any more payments to them.
And then if they come back and finish the project, then we would start making payments again?
Well, if it may be that the whole agreement would be terminated. We may have to renegotiate at that point. We don't anticipate that happening,
I don't
obviously.
either. Okay.
But that's the safeguard. We'd get our money back.
Okay. And Mr. Davis, it may be a question for you or Ms. Jordan, but prove to me and the citizens of Huntsville why Whole Foods is a regional draw and not just a local store.
Council members, I can tell you that the statistics of Whole Foods, 48% of their sales comes outside of a 7-mile radius of the store. I can tell you that this is a 2-year process that we've went through to land this retailer. When they came in and sat down with Mayor Battle and I, they said that their Franklin store in Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, 3% of those sales came from Huntsville residents. So I hope by that, their average radius distance drive from a store customer is about 50 miles.
Okay. So you're pretty certain it's a regional draw then?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Further questions, discussion? Job well done, Shane. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries.
Thank you, council members.
We're now at 16 legal department items for transactions. Mr. Cox has asked some questions, so we'll consider each one of these. 16, 1A is a resolution consenting to the vacation of Pride Street, Unnamed Street, Callaghan Street, and Lanier's Alley, lots 1 through 6 and 9 through 14, Lanier Pride subdivision of Adam Hall Addition, and lots 11-26, 47-62, J.C. McDonald Addition. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Mr. Gelfand, could you explain this, or do you know who the appropriate person would be to explain this?
Yes, this is a fairly routine request. Owners of the property had requested the vacation of this portion of right-of-way. It has been routed through the engineering department, Hunts Utilities, and the planning commission has granted approval, and it's then forwarded to the city council for approval. So I'm not aware of any objections to it, but it's a fairly routine request.
Okay. Questions, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 1B is an ordinance authorizing vacation of Pride Street, Unnamed Street, Callaghan Street, and Lanier's Alley, lots 1 through 6 and 9 through 14, Lanier Pride subdivision of Adam Hall Addition, and lots 11-26, 47-62, J.C. McDonald Addition. The chair moves for approval. Second by Dr. Showers. Discussion.
This is just a companion item. This authorizes the execution of the deed conveying the right-of-way back to the owners.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at non-roster communications from the public. Ms. Reed.
But it is a roster communications, what it's about. It's about the development that you just spoke about. I guess I don't understand why you all never have a work session on any of these projects anymore and let the public maybe ask a question or two so you'd sort of halfway know what's going on. If this is in Merchants Walk, where is that on the Parkway in Bob Wallace? Is that Regents Bank and all those lawyers' offices back over in there? That's not Merchants Walk.
It's the AMCO
7.5 acres.
Ma'am, there's a chart. We'll show it to you. It's on a slide.
saw it.
Okay. We'll have to show it to you again, though.
Who's going to buy out? Are there any buildings leased in there right now? And who's going to buy out the leases, if there is? Does anybody know that?
I personally don't know that.
It's the responsibility of the developers to obtain title control to all of those parcels of property, not the city of Huntsville.
So they'll be buying the leases out. Has anybody done a traffic study, or have you even thought about it on that corner there? Is that not important? Here we go again. Anybody done a traffic study?
Everything will follow the planning procedure, just like all developments in the city of Huntsville.
How much money is the developer putting up front on this development before the city puts $2 million up? What do the developers lay on the table when they come in here to make such a development? How much do they lay on the table to match what you all want the taxpayers to pay for?
$48 million.
They have that in cash to hand you?
They're not giving it
No,
to the
I'm
city of
asking you.
Huntsville. No, that's how much it's
They
costing.
laying it on the table, so what I'm asking you, what are they laying on the table to match our $2 million? Because we're going to demolish everything, and we're going to pay for the parking garage, and we're going to pay for this and that and the other. There's only half of what you all say up there is what it's going to cost when you get through with it. I've been coming way too long down here to know we're going to renegotiate this lease, and we keep doing things back and forth. I'd like for someday, somewhere, somehow, you all educate the taxpayers on some of these developments that you reach out to get. Because I do know you'll be back, and the developers, if they've got such big ideas, they got to have some money from somewhere. How about helping me get a development going like that? $2 million? I mean, you know, it's just common sense. It's not really, you don't have to be too smart. I'm not smart by any means, but I can read the books, and I've been reading them way too long. Thank you.
Ms. Reed, Mr. Davis will be glad to show you the chart where the properties are located and answer your questions. Mr. Cox.
Yes, Mr. President, Jerry Cox, 4029 Telstar Circle. I'd just like to comment just briefly about the problem that's been with the traffic going on and off the Arsenal. I know Colonel Olszewski and Colonel Hamilton is well aware that my community is completely bounded on the south side by the Arsenal, and is completely bounded on the west side by the Arsenal, and is completely bounded on the east and north side by a creek with one entrance. So essentially the only way we can get home is to come down Patton Road. Now, it is just unbelievable to me that the Arsenal is allowing this traffic problem in the loss of productivity and the loss of morale. But I just want to remind you all that it also affects residents of the city of Huntsville, my neighborhood. If I wanted to go home between 5:30 a.m. and 9 a.m., it would take me probably 30 minutes to get from Bob Wallace to my house. If I needed a fire truck, an ambulance, or a police to come to my house during those hours, they would have to come down the outgoing lanes at a reduced speed and with some degree of safety issue there to get to my house. So there are residents of the city of Huntsville. It doesn't just affect those people that's working on the Arsenal on Patton Road, Gate 10, when they close Gate 8 and Gate 10, those people that's going in Gate 8 are now coming down Gate 10 from 5:30 in the morning until at 9 and 9:30, the traffic is crawling from Gate 10 just outside my house to essentially the interstate at lots of times, but definitely to Bob Wallace Avenue. So there is a problem, and I hope that the current Arsenal mayor recognizes this. Now, we've always been a good neighbor to the Arsenal. I'm not making really a complaint about this, but I just want y'all to be aware that this is an issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Cox, I can assure you, Colonel Marks, he actually grew up in Huntsville, and he's talked to me about this situation. He's well aware of the safety issues that are causing outside the gate. Mr. Hamilton?
I was going to ask, didn't the Arsenal actually turn down assistance that was offered from the city for police officers? And then I think I heard later that Senator Sessions had gotten something worked out, I think maybe in conjunction with the city and the Arsenal, to get some extra personnel to get those gates open. Isn't that supposed to take effect?
Mr. Kling, first off, the decisions that were made relative to the gates are not decisions really made at the arsenal level. Their security guard force has been cut as a result of mandates that spread across the entire Army. So all of the Installation Management Command, that is the higher headquarters for the garrisons throughout around the world, have been taking personnel cuts, and those are mandated in-string cuts. You see some of the comments, some of the blogs about, the money actually is not a money issue. It's actually a personnel authorization. It's not so much a money issue. And specifically, the security guard force was impacted probably disproportionately as compared to other career fields within that command. So those cuts occurred at their higher headquarters. It's something that the leadership on the Arsenal has been fighting for quite some time. It dates back before Colonel Marks. That's something that's been going on for a while. Our elected officials, Congressman Brooks was the first to engage very actively on it. Both senators were engaged on it, and the mayor's office was actively engaged. I personally spent time on the phone with Senator Sessions' office making sure they understood the nature of the issue. They have announced that they're getting additional hiring authorization. Right now, the guards that are already on board are burning a lot of overtime in order to get the gates to where they are. The Arsenal didn't so much, to answer your point, Mr. Kling, didn't so much refuse our assistance. The issue is jurisdictional. Our police officers cannot go on and conduct law enforcement activities on a federal installation, just as theirs cannot come off the Arsenal and do it off the installation. So it would be nice if there was an easy solution like sharing resources like that, and it would certainly make sense, but not quite as simple as we'd like it to be. And so they are working through it. I think it's going to get better. Mr. Cox, we absolutely understand the impacts to the traffic all around the Arsenal. And, as necessary, we'll put HPD out to assist with that traffic. But it doesn't make the cars go away. It really just monitors that traffic. And we understand exactly how your neighborhood is impacted, particularly. By reopening Gate 8, we think this week it actually helped. Of course, it's hard to tell with the weather, but next week when the weather's good, I think you'll see it's better than what it was when Gate 8 was closed. So we think help's on the way.
Does anyone else from the public wish to address the council?
Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
26.